Hey guys, welcome to Stampin' with Alicia. So today we are going to make a card that looks like this. The feature or the show of the video is the accordion style design on this card. And this was using the Cool Treats, but the card I'm going to make with you, just to give you two extreme examples, I'm going to be using the Lift Me Up stamp set with the coordinating framelits, and that can be found on page 10 of the Occasions catalog. Okay, then the paper DSP Designer Series paper I'm going to be using is from the Celebration catalog, and that is on page 7, and it is free with a $50 purchase. So if you purchase the bundle, Lift Me Up bundle, plus maybe some cardstock, today we're using Peekaboo Peach, you can get the DSP for free. And it's really pretty. These papers are gorgeous. So I went ahead and cut down my sheet. This is 10 by 5. Okay. And of course my A2 size card base, I cut at 4 1/4, then scored it at 5 1/2. The inks we will be using, I will tell you as we go, because I'm not exactly sure where I'm going with this card. I created this diagram. Well, I did not create it. I copied it from another demonstrator. Stampin' on the Back Porch is her Facebook name, I know. I think her name is Karen. She's awesome. I love watching her videos. But this is where I got this idea from. So I will have a picture of this at the end if you want to take a screenshot or take a picture, save it, whatever, if you want to create this. So this is the guide I'm going to be going by. So you want to make sure you have your 10 by 5 sheet of DSP. Now you need to pay attention to the pattern. On this side, we have little hot air balloons. I want to make sure to cut my paper in a way that when I do this, my hot air balloons aren't sideways. Now, if you want to make it easy, pick a pattern where it doesn't matter which way it's going, like this one. But on this, I wanted everything to flow this way, and I wanted my hot air balloons to be upright. So my big piece is 10, so they're facing the correct way. I need the top piece to be 10 inches, and then the side to be 5. Okay, so if you have a score, great. If you don't, I will link below the Stampin' Up scoreboard. I don't know if it's called scoreboard, but the score and the trimmer. I have this. This has been with me for a little bit, so this is what I'm going to use. It would be easier if you had an actual scoreboard, because you just lay it out and score, score, score. This, you have to move your paper. But use what you have. There's no need in buying something you already have. All right, so going by this sheet, I'm going to score at 1 inch. And details on this will be on my blog that's linked below. 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2 1/2. Put this up here so I can actually see it. 3, 4, 4 1/2, 5 1/2, 6, 7, 7 1/2, 8 1/2, and 9. So I lightly scored my paper. And then next, if you notice, I have these lines. These are my cut lines. I need to cut these out. So what you're going to do is at the 4 1/2 and 5 1/2, you need to take a pencil and make a little mark. So go to 4 1/2, and I'm going to make a little mark at the top, a little mark at the bottom. And you want to make sure you make a mark at the edge. Don't go in at all, otherwise your cut lines will be off. And then I need to go to 5.5. So that first one was 4.5. This one is 5.5. Make a dot, make a mark. Okay, so then I have these 2 or these 4 marked off. Next, I need to flip my paper like this. I'm going to go to 2 inches. Make sure my paper's straight. Make a mark at the top. Make a mark at the bottom. Go 3 inches. Make a mark at the top and the bottom. Now, what you want to do, because I speak from experience, is that when you are ready to cut these lines, make sure your points are matching up. Don't go here and cut to here. Okay, that's what I did. So you want to cut here to this dot, here to this dot. Don't skip it and accidentally cut the dot, you know, below what you're supposed to. Okay, so take it slow. There's no need to rush. So I need to find my dots. I'm going to go ahead and line them up. Well, let's change my score to the blade. Go ahead and line up my 2 dots that I need to cut. Go ahead and cut that. And then I'm going to flip my paper and do the same. Let me find my dots. Go ahead and cut that. So I did it again. The same mistake I told you guys not to do, or be careful not to do, and I did it. So just like last time, I'm going just to take some Scotch tape and I'm going to repair it. Oh well. Not a big deal. Thankfully, this card there's a lot going on with it, so it can easily be disguised. There we go. Let's pretend like that didn't happen. Rewind, try again. All right, this dot to this dot. Can't believe I did that. There we go. Now, this dot to this dot. And this dot to up here. There we go. So, there. And if we took our piece, it would fit over our diagram. And you can't even tell that there's my mistake. You definitely won't be able to tell once we put the card together. At this point, you want to decide, what do you want to be your front? What do you want to be the back? So this would be your front, and then the little peeking here would be your back. So I think I want this side to be my front, because I feel like this could be a masculine card, which for me, that's the most difficult type of card to make. And I really like the way it complements the Peekaboo Peach cardstock. So I'm going to have this be my front. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of feel for the score lines, because mine aren't very deep, because I did not want to rip the paper. And I want to start in the center, this center piece. So I'm just going to find that first score line and go ahead and fold. Then find the next one and fold. This reminds me of when I was little, I used to take a piece of paper and fold it back and forth, and then it created a fan. Did anyone else do that? And then I take the next score line, fold it towards me, the next one away from you, and then the final one will be towards you again. So this is what one side will look like. And then I go ahead and take a bone folder, just kind of press these out. So it looks like that. Then you're going to do the same on this other side. So find that first score line, fold away. The next one, fold towards you. The next one, fold away. Once I find it. And this is my goofed up side, so I'm going to be extra careful. Oh well, we will just make sure to cover that side with our sentiments. So like that. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of smush them out. So there is that piece. Now, let me do some repair to my mistake here. I want to make sure, since I did this, and if you do it, you'll at least see how I try to correct it. This is my messed up side, so I want to make sure it's on the bottom of my card base. That way when I do my sentiment, I want my sentiment to be down here, so that'll be covered, and maybe I'll put something here to cover that. Either way, not a big deal. If you're giving this card to someone, more than likely they're not going to notice. So what you want to do is take some double-sided tape. This is just some tape I've had in my stash. I will link to Stampin' Up's double-sided tear-in tape. Once I am done with this stuff I have in my stash, I will be purchasing that. I'm actually kind of excited to try it out. But, you know, I want you guys to use what you have in your stash. Yes, I want you to buy the stuff you see that I show, of course, but I also don't want you to buy something and regret it and then, you know, not be happy. You just really need to add one to create some stability. I add a few more for extra stability, and the ends tend to come up if you just add one. So I'm going to just add a few, and it's curling, but that's okay. Obviously, when you stick down this to the card base, it will not do that anymore. So then I'm going to go ahead and take off all the backing. Here's my card base. Make sure it's opening correctly. And then I find my mistake. Okay, my cut is down here. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down as straight as possible. And thankfully, when I cut it, my little hot air balloons were upright. Okay, so that is what it looks like, the accordion piece. You can fluff it up a little if you want. If you want it a little bit more raised, just don't add as much tape to the back. I like it a little bit flatter because if I mail this, it's not going to cause any issues, because I will be adding a sentiment with an image. So that's going to create more bulk. All right, for my sentiment, I am choosing Hope Your Day is on Cloud 9, Happy Birthday. And I am going to ink it up with Night of Navy on some mint macaron cardstock. It will go perfect with my DSP. And I'm going to ink it up to the left here. Hopefully I ink it up straight. Perfect. I have to say, you know, being a new demonstrator, I am just getting in. This is my first time really trying the Stampin' Up inks, and I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm very picky with my inks. There are other companies out there that are great, but I think I found a new love with these Stampin' Up inks. There is my sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. All right, I went ahead and cut that out. It's about 1 inch and 4 1/4. I want to use my Stampin' Dimensionals just on the end, since this is raised a little. I don't want to add one there because then it'll bow in the center. So I'm just going to add a couple. One to each end. And go ahead and adhere my sentiment. And I'm covering up some of my mistake I made earlier, so that is awesome. Make sure I get this on straight. Now, the reason why I did it to the far left is because I'm going to use 2 of the stamps, the 2 hot air balloon stamps in the stamp set, to ink it up, and I kind of want to have them, one of them at least, off to the side here. Now, for my first hot air balloon stamp, I'm going to use Night of Navy on some Watermelon Wonder cardstock. And I'm choosing the bigger hot air balloon out of the stamp set. And then for my next hot air balloon, the smaller one, I'm going to use the mint macaron. And I'm going to stamp that in Night of Navy as well. Ugh, I love these stamps. They're so detailed. It's a great stamp and die set. The dies that come with it, there's a hot air balloon that is separated. I'll show you in a second here. These right here, these pieces, so you can create like an ombre effect. It's just beautiful. It's such intricate, but I will do a card doing that, but for this, I wanted the star of the show to be the accordion style pattern paper. So here I'm going to go ahead and line up my dies so I can run them through my Big Shot. I use painter's tape to make sure my dies, you know, adhere them to my paper. I do remove some of the stickiness off my hand because painter's tape will tear your cardstock if you are not careful. I think Post-it tape works well, I've heard, and then there's another type of tape, I don't remember the name, but this works for me. So let me go ahead and cut these out. All right, so here are my pieces, and I'm going to kind of adhere them like that. I am going to put them on, well, I don't want too much bulk, so I'm going to add a dimensional to the corner here. That way I'll adhere that down, and this corner will be flush with everything else. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, just a little bit. Go ahead and adhere that down. Perfect. And then one little dimensional to pop it up. Maybe right there, so it's not covering the accordion. I think we're going here. We're just going to do it. Now, in creating this card, I had a man in mind, so adding sequins or embellishments, rhinestones may not be the best thing. But definitely, if this isn't for a man, just maybe someone that likes hot air balloons, I think sequins will look great right here, or rhinestones, something to fill in this little space. Okay, all this free space up here kind of bothers me. So I went ahead and took some of the cloud stamps and stamped them in Night and Navy on some white cardstock, and die cut them out. So I think I'm going to I added dimensionals to a couple. Just add a few clouds here and there, just to add some interest and fill in this space. Add a small one down here. I'm going to use a dimensional to pop this one up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to leave it at 5, since odd looks better than even when adding some embellishments. So I think that looks a lot better. What do you guys think? So if you're interested in any of these products, please look below. I will list everything. Also, I'll include a link to my store. These products I used are a part of the Occasions catalog. And remember, every $50 purchase, you get something free out of the celebration. And this is the paper I used. So if you purchase the stamp set and die set, and maybe a cardstock or ink pad, you will qualify to earn this for free of your choice. Of course, you can choose this or something else. It doesn't matter. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll stay tuned as I feature more from the Occasions catalog. And I hope I inspired you to try something new with your DSP. All right, guys, I'll catch you next time. Bye.